Hey everyone, welcome
大
to
家
Neura
好，
Pod, a
欢迎来
channel
到
about all
Neura
things
Pod，一
related
个
to
为
the
您带
Elon
来
Musk
有
founded
关 Elon
company
Musk 创
Neuralink.
办的 Neuralink
This
公司
update
新闻的频
episode
道。
includes
以
many
下
recent
为
comments from
本期内
Elon
容简
about the
介，
future
我
of
们将
Neuralink.
简要概括伊朗最近几条有关 Neuralink 未来的评论。首先是 Lex Fridman 对伊朗采访的剪辑，接着是 Elon Musk 同来自 SpaceX 的 Bill Riley 和 Hardcore History 播客的 Dan Carlin 的闲谈。巴比隆 B 频道创作人员和 Elon Musk 进行了一个圆桌会谈，通过肢体中的 Neuralink 设备创造神经分流。伊朗讨论了一条有关他自己改变对大脑移植看法的推文。伊朗获得了2个年度人物的荣誉，我们将讨论他在工程领域的影响。接着我们会更新几个我们频道一直关注的有关 Neuralink 的数据。在 Lex Fridman 的采访中，伊朗和 Lex 讨论了用于驱动特斯拉自动驾驶功能的神经网络。他们将特斯拉汽车上的摄像头传感器与我们自己的人眼进行了比较，然后他们继续讨论了大脑是如何工作的。我发现这些内容特别有趣，因为我们植入的 Neuralink 的设备有可能与各种传感器连接，例如全光谱视觉传感器和先进的假肢传感器。
The brain is doing a crazy amount of post-processing on the vision signals from your eyes. It's insane. So, and then even once you get all those vision signals, your brain is constantly trying to forget as much as possible. So human memory is perhaps the weakest thing about the brain is memory. So because memory is so expensive to a brain and so limited, your brain is trying to forget as much as possible and distill the things that you see into the smallest amounts of information possible. So your brain is trying to not just get to a vector space, but get to a vector space that is the smallest possible vector space of only relevant objects.
采访的后半部分，他们继续讨论了特斯拉机器人。您可以想象一下，如果一个功能全面的特斯拉机器人可以远程由某人的大脑操控，它的功能将会多么强大。
The possibilities are, endless. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's not quite in Tesla's primary mission direction of accelerating sustainable energy, but it is an extremely useful thing that we can do for the world, which is to make a useful humanoid robot that is capable of interacting with the world and helping in many different ways.
进一步说，在掌握收集了大脑如何工作的知识和数据的情况下，如果伊朗还没有考虑过将 Neuralink 开发的人工大脑与特斯拉机器人配对的可能性，我一定会感到惊讶。伊朗与来自 Hardcore History 播客的 Dan Carlin 进行了一次谈话。这次谈话的氛围很随意，与其他采访大不相同。尽管我对伊朗在公众前的讲话风格比较了解，我还是为他对历史事件回忆的广度和深度感到惊讶。谈话中，伊朗围绕的主题是工程对战争结果的影响被低估了。与 Neuralink 最相关的部分是关于战争在未来可能会是什么样子的讨论。听一下这个片段，并设想一下，如果有国家开发出了像特斯拉机器人或无人机一样的军队，将可能会发生什么？
Yeah, so there's an interesting thing that happened. So when we obviously once we developed nukes, like wars between superpowers became a decision to destroy humanity or not, or destroy civilization.
You'd get some pushback on that from some military leaders. You would.
No, but I mean, it's just like the stakes are very high. Like you can't just go around using nukes without getting nuked yourself, basically. So like in wars between superpowers, like serious wars, were not going to happen because it would just be mutually assured destruction. At least there was too much risk of such a thing to have a superpower war. However, drones now move that completely in the other direction. Now you can have a drone war where very few people died, or maybe no one dies in a drone war, and whoever's drones are successful, they won the battle. And this may actually reduce the risk of a war, or sorry, reduce the penalty of a war and increase the risk of having a war, because it ends up being battle bots, and so that could be one of the things that happens, is that it's now the stakes have gone from super high with nukes to actually not even having human casualties.
我希望着有一天战争根本就不需要打，双方都可以在没有伤亡的争斗前就停止下来。这样的话，战争的胜利将主要取决于哪一方拥有最好的工程师。这样伊朗的观点就更容易理解了。工程对战争结果的影响历来就被低估了。下面这段视频剪辑中 Babylon B 的 CEO 向伊朗询问了他对元宇宙的看法。
What are your thoughts on the metaverse, which takes technology to the next level and puts us in a virtual world? Do you see that as being dangerous, hopeful for humanity? What's your view on that?
Maybe we're in the metaverse right now. It's just metaverse is all the way down. I don't know if I necessarily buy into this metaverse stuff. Although people talk to me a lot about it. It's Web3, sure, you can put a TV on your nose.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that makes you in the metaverse, It's weird, when I grew up, it's don't sit too close to the TV, it's gonna ruin your eyesight.
Right.
And now I got TV is literally right here. I'm what? Is that good for you?
我最近测试了一下 Oculus Quest 2。Omar 和我在 Meta 的 Horizon Workroom 进行了一次会议。我个人觉得这种体验新奇有趣。然而，在几分钟后，我开始对眼前的明亮屏幕感到不适。此外，我经历了伊朗在此处描述的眩晕。
I mean, have you tried these games?
The VR Oculus stuff.
Yeah, they're okay, but it gives you motion sickness if you try to walk around. You can do a video game on your sort of computer, console, or whatever, and you can be in a first-person game and move rapidly and not get motion sickness. But if you try to do that with VR goggles, you get motion sickness. It's weird. So then you have to teleport around with. It's okay. So it doesn't feel like that's the answer necessarily.
You team up and Neuralink into the brain so that you don't have to have the glasses?
There you go.
Yeah, a Neuralink, long-term, a sophisticated Neuralink could put you fully in a virtual reality thing. I think we're far from disappearing into the metaverse. This sounds just kind of buzzwordy, and I don't know if hey, is this have I just gotten too old, and am I one of those people who was dismissing the internet, whatever, 95 as being some fad or something that's never going to amount to anything? Although I didn't. I was saying 95 was literally the internet is going to transform humanity, and it's going to be prior information basically just went by osmosis. Unless a person called another person or carried a letter physically to another person, how did you get information around? The vast majority of information was literally person to person. Then you had the fax machine and stuff, but it's just
the way the metaverse is being sold right now is so underwhelming. It's you're going to be it's Zoom meetings, but there's an avatar for the person next to you, and you maybe get to design your avatar.
Like I said, I don't want to be some old codger sort of dismissing the internet in 95 is not amounting to anything. So there's some danger with that. That's the case, but I currently am unable to see a compelling metaverse situation, or Web3 sounds like more marketing than reality. I don't get it, and maybe I will, but I don't get it yet. Let me put it that way.
Neuralink 正在开发一种通过手术植入的脑机接口。我很难想象任何非侵入式的可穿戴脑机接口设备能以任何有意义的方式在 VR 领域与 Neuralink 竞争。在讨论了伊朗的其他项目后，他们最终回到了 Neuralink 的话题上。
So how fast can you communicate with your phone using 2 thumbs? 10 bits per second. It's very low, the data rate. And if computers can, and which they can, communicate at a billion bits per second or more, and we're communicating with them at 10 bits per second, then that's just an extremely slow communication link.
伊朗接着补充说，我认为 Neuralink 创造了一项新的世界纪录。
And we recently got what we think is a world record in bits per second from any neural device. We're starting to approach 10 bits per second, which is not actually, well, not that big, but it's more than anyone else has achieved in a useful way. 10, close to 10 useful bits per second is where we are. and we'll increase that dramatically over time.
然后他继续讨论了安全的重要性。就像特斯拉车辆的安全系数高过安全监管标准一样， Neuralink 设备的安全系数也超过了安全监管标准。然后他讨论了同时植入2个 Neuralink 设备的应用。
And I'm increasingly confident that we can implant a second Neuralink device. So one that accesses the motor cortex and the somatosensory cortex, and then a second one that is past where the injury is. So if you've got a severed, but basically where are the neurons still functional, and implant a second Neuralink device and have the two devices talk to each other and just transfer the signals across where
it broke.
Yeah, because it's like a broken circuit.
Right.
So you've got a broken circuit. You basically just do a signal transfer between the two, and you don't necessarily even need to know what all those signals are. You just need to transfer the signals. So just like if you have like an Ethernet cable, you don't need to know what's on the Ethernet cable for the cable to work, or a wireless Ethernet, from one wireless to Ethernet, Wi-Fi box to another wireless Ethernet Wi-Fi box. You don't need to know what the contents of the signal are in order to transfer the signal. So I'm confident that such a thing is possible. I'm not saying we will do it. I don't want to set unreasonable expectations, but I would say I'm certain that it is possible, and we will try to make it happen, which would then enable people to walk again and use their hands, and I think long-term probably restore full body functionality to somebody who has none.
同时植入2个 Neuralink 设备的想法对于忠实的 Neura Pod 听众来说并不是什么新鲜事。他继续在推特上说
He continued on Twitter, saying, quote, "Later versions will be able to shunt signals from Neuralinks in the brain to Neuralinks in body motor sensory neuron clusters, thus enabling, for example, paraplegics to walk again," unquote. The most recent blog post on the Neuralink company page includes this note. It says, "Prior research by the BrainGate Consortium have shown that neurons in the motor cortex remain directionally tuned to the movement intention even in people with paralysis," unquote. Within the past few decades, it's become known that people who are paralyzed can almost always process in their brain the movements that they want to do. The thing that prevents the person from being able to execute on those thoughts is that the connection between the brain and the limbs is broken. Specifically, the signal being sent from the brain never reaches the place it needs to go.
出于照顾新观众的需要，让我们回顾一下伊朗在2020年7月的一条推文。文中，伊朗被问及与脊柱相关的 Neuralink 的应用，他回应道：“是的，应该有可能通过创建一个从运动皮层到肌肉群中微处理器的神经分流来恢复运动能力，即使这人的脊髓已被完全切断。这一设想已在犹他州进行的实验中得到证明，但还不能满足门诊的需要。”这种神经分流的想法是通过无线的方式重新建立断开的连接，这可能是 Neuralink 决定在2020年夏季产品大会上强调双重植入的原因。
So we said, well, what if we do 2 Neuralink implants, and we've been able to do dual Neuralink implants in actually I think 3 pigs at this point, and we have a couple of them here. And we've been able to show that you can actually have multiple Neuralinks implanted, and again, healthy and happy and indistinguishable from a normal pig. So it's possible to have multiple links in your head and have them all be sending out signals and be working well.
他们去年也通过在猕猴的大脑中展示了植入2个设备的应用例子。
This is Pager. He's a 9-year-old macaque who had a Neuralink placed in each side of his brain about 6 weeks ago. If you look carefully, you can see that the fur on his head hasn't quite fully grown back yet. He's learnt to interact with a computer for a tasty banana smoothie delivered through a straw. We can interact with the Neuralinks simply by pairing them to an iPhone, just as you might pair your phone to a Bluetooth speaker.
这里我提醒一下，这种神经分流的概念不同于在大脑中植入2个 Neuralink 的脑机接口设备。具体来说，神经分流概念很可能是植入另一种不同的 Neuralink 产品，或者可能是某种先进的假肢设备。无论如何，当 Neuralink 团队最终发布产品的时候， 一定会是一个激动人心的时刻。接下来，伊朗回答了来自 Weibo 网站的 Team Urban 提出的问题。顺便说一下 ，Team 有一篇总结 Neuralink 的很长的文章，非常值得一读。这个问题是你改变过看法的一件事情是什么？这虽然有点像文字游戏，但我认为伊朗是认真回答的。他说他改变对大脑移植的看法。目前还不清楚他是赞成还是不赞成脑移植，但这增加了一种对未来的猜测，那就是 Neuralink 以后能决定是进行脑移植，或是大脑复制，或是人工大脑开发，只有时间能告诉我们他们最终的选择。就像其他千禧一代的人一样，我承认伊朗直接影响了我，并持续且间接的启发激励我。伊朗在今年终于得到了更多的认可，因为他获得了《时代》杂志和《金融时报》的年度人物称号。我想强调伊朗关于将特斯拉和 SpaceX 的成功归功于什么的评论。我相信这一优势在未来几年也会在 Neuralink 中显现出来。以下是《金融时报》文章的摘抄。对工程的热情是伊朗对特斯拉的成功的解释。他说，不和我一起工作的人不会明白，我首先是一名工程师。相比于其他那些比我拥有更多资源的公司，特斯拉和 SpaceX 是如何成功的呢？问题是他们雇佣不了我。他还说，一个公司追求工程的卓越性和对重要挑战的关注，对于吸引顶尖的工程人才至关重要。文章接着说，特斯拉电池前高管吉恩说，当你去解决世界上最难的问题时，世界上最好的人就想来为你工作。整整10年，特斯拉是硅谷唯一这么做的公司。我认为这个人才优势再怎么强调都不为过。当我在特斯拉工作的时候，我非常清楚与我一起工作的团队是最一流的。相比较之下，世界各地大学的顶尖工程毕业生并没有全力以赴地为通用汽车工作。同样，一旦脑机接口领域成熟起来，其他公司在这个领域与 Neuralink 进行人才竞争，将会是一个相当大的挑战。我们一直在跟踪 Neuralink 的员工数量和在 LinkedIn 和 Twitter 上的关注人数。正如您所料，趋势一直都是增长的。Neuralink 在持续寻找认可公司使命的人才，那就是解决重要的大脑和脊柱问题上的挑战。他们在几乎所有的部门都有招聘。如果您有兴趣，请在 Neuralink.com 上申请。如果您错过了我们频道上个月 Neuralink 的更新视频，请记得观看。如果您喜欢我们的节目，请考虑订阅这个频道。谢谢。